Good morning, folks. Today we are going to start with the chapter The Browning Version by Terence Rattigan. About the author. Terence Rattigan was born in 1911 to a diplomat and received his education at Trinity College and Oxford. He is a very famous playwright. His work is beautifully laid on the middle class and settings are such natural that people relate themselves with the plays. The following extract is taken from the famous play, the Browning version, which tells us about a schoolmaster, Mr. Crocker Harris, who is very unpopular teacher because of his strict attitude. Some of his other plays are The Winslow Boy, The Deep Blue Sea, Ross, and a comedy, French Without Tears, which won him a lot of appreciation. He went for his heavenly abode in 1977. The main characters in the play are Mr. Andrew Crocker Harris, who is highly disciplined and principled teacher and would not compromise on the rules and regulations to suffice sentiments of students. A teacher who was hard on students when it came to studies. He was not of those teachers who would crack romantic jokes in the class to make studies fun. Teplo, as not a single student was able to comprehend them. Next, we have Frank Hunter, the science teacher who is a young schoolmaster who watches Teplo's moves unseen. Finally, he interrupts and gives Teplo pointers to converse for a few moments. The young man is worried that Andrew will not give him his remove. He plans to study science, which is Hunter's subject. John Teplo is a boy of 16 studying in lower 5th. His attitude towards his master Crocker Harris was quite mixed. He recognized his sense of discipline, sense of devotion, and stoic nature. But he had a personal grudge against Mr. Harris. He had to do some extra work. As a result, he was afraid that Harris might have marked him down. Teplo considered Mr. Crocker Harris different from other teachers. And finally, Millie Crocker Harris, who is wife to Crocker Harris. She's younger and vivacious and quite different from her husband. She definitely asks Teplo to cut and get the medical prescription made till Crocker Harris was back. Now about the lesson. The play, the Browning version, is set in a school. Teplo is a boy of 16 who has been called to school to do an extra work assigned by Andrew Crocker Harris, a middle-aged teacher who teaches Latin. Mr. Crocker Harris is a dedicated teacher but very unpopular among his students because of his strict attitude. Teplo is waiting for Mr. Harris when Frank, a science young teacher, comes into conversation with him. Frank, being young and less experienced, encourages Teplo when the latter imitates Mr. Crocker Harris. The playwright beautifully presents the difference between two teachers, Frank and Harris. Although Mr. Harris is not physically present anywhere in the play, but the reader gets a deep insight into his character. Though strict, Mr. Crocker Harris is a man of principles. Although the students remain uneasy due to his strict attitude, but they seem to admire him. Frank, on the other hand, is portrayed as a man of feeble character who never respects rules and goes beyond the limits. He does not even hesitate encouraging a young Taplow to imitate his senior colleague. Important words from the chapter are remove, which means a division in a school, slackers, which means unmotivated and lazy students, muck, which means useless and of no practical use, captain means detained or grounded, work after the official school hours. Got carried away basically means very excited or lose control on your feelings. Cut means escape. Sadist is a person who gets pleasure in giving pain to others. And finally, shriveled up, which means having no feelings. So, the conclusion is that Crocker Harris is retiring because of ill health. When Frank arrives, and in the course of conversation, the two talk about Mr. Crocker Harris, Frank Hunter, and Teplow. Now, known for his strict discipline, Crocker Harris basically is called Croc and Himmler of the lower fifth. Hunter, which means Frank, on the other hand, enjoys an easy rapport with students, as can be seen in Taplow's readiness to share confidence with him. He feels comfortable talking to him about other teacher. While they were waiting for Croc to appear, Frank instructs Taplow to play golf. And Taplow admits that although most students, he had his share of fun at Crocker Harris, but he definitely respects him a lot. And that would be the end of the presentation. Thank you.